The text lit up my phone at 11:43 p.m., the kind of hour that only ever carries endings or emergencies. I was sprawled on the couch, half watching a late-night game, the volume low, when the screen flashed like a warning. Dad's in the hospital. Final hours. Come now. Sent from my brother Mark. My stomach dropped like a stone into black water, cold and instant. Dad had been fading for weeks. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The type that eats you from the inside while the world keeps spinning. I grabbed my keys so fast they clattered against the counter, texted my wife Claire in one breath. Dad's dying. Heading to St. Jude's. No reply. She was out with friends, a vague girls' night she'd mentioned earlier with a breezy kiss goodbye. I didn't wait. I drove through empty streets, rain streaking the windshield like tears the sky couldn't hold back. My mind raced through memories on fast forward. Dad teaching me to cast a line on the lake at dawn, his booming laugh at my wedding when he toasted to the son who finally grew up. The way he'd grip my shoulder with that proud, iron-strong squeeze and say, "You're the man now, kid." The hospital rose ahead, cold white concrete glowing under floodlights. I sprinted through the ER doors, badge be damned, heart hammering against my ribs. ICU. Room 408, the nurse pointed with a practiced nod. I shoved the door open and stopped dead in my tracks. Dad lay there, frail as paper, tubes snaking into his arms, monitors beeping a slow dying rhythm, eyes closed in shallow sleep. But beside the bed, clutching his hand like it was her lifeline, whispering soft, urgent words into his ear, was Claire. My wife. Not Mark, not Mom. Claire. Her head snapped up when the door creaked, eyes wide with pure shock, lips parting in a silent gasp. In her other hand, clenched tight, was a thick, folded document, official-looking, stamped, edges crisp. Dad's weak voice rasped through cracked lips. Sign it before it's too late. So, Claire's grip tightened on the paper, knuckles white. My world tilted violently off its axis. Why is she here alone? Why is she holding a will? And why does Dad sound like he's begging her? Claire and I had been married 7 years, together 10, a decade of what I thought was solid ground. We met at Dad's annual company picnic. She was the new senior accountant he'd hired, sharp as a blade, beautiful in a navy blazer, with a smile that turned spreadsheets into poetry. I was the operations lead, Dad's right hand raised on construction sites and blueprints, hands always stained with sawdust. Opposites in every way. She lived for order, color-coded planners, and balanced ledgers. I thrived in chaos, hard hats, and the smell of fresh concrete. But it worked like magic. Dad adored her from day one, called her the daughter I never had, pulled her into family dinners, trusted her with the books when his health started slipping. We built a life brick by brick a house. With the wraparound porch, I'd framed myself. 2 rescue dogs that followed her everywhere. Plans for kids that kept getting pushed back by just one more busy season. When Dad's diagnosis hit last year, Claire became our rock, driving him to chemo when I couldn't, organizing meal trains, sitting vigil during the worst nights, holding his hand when the pain made him shake. He's family, she'd say, voice cracking, tears shining in her eyes. I believed her completely. I needed to. Grief binds people in strange ways. But cracks had been forming for months. Hairline fractures I'd patched over with denial. Claire's late nights balancing books. At the office, Dad's office, stretched into 2 a.m., even on weekends. Her phone went silent mode permanently, face down on tables, password changed without a word. Client privacy and HIPAA compliance. She'd snap if I asked, tone sharp enough to cut. I'd catch her crying in the shower, blaming work stress or hormones from trying. Mark, my younger brother, had grown distant, 2 fewer calls, vague excuses about travel for suppliers, avoiding family gatherings. I'd chalked it all up to collective grief, to Dad's decline pulling us into separate orbits of pain. But doubt is a slow-acting poison. It seeps in through unanswered texts, locked drawers, smiles that land somewhere just left of the eyes. That night in the ICU, the document in Claire's hand wasn't random paperwork. It was Dad's revised last will and testament dated 3 days prior, witnessed by her alone, no sign of the family attorney, who'd handled our estate for decades. I glimpsed my name crossed out in red ink under the company inheritance clause. Mark's name scrawled in its place. Claire's signature bold and looping at the bottom. Dad's shaky scrawl beneath. To my true children, Claire and Mark. My knees nearly buckled against the doorframe. Claire's whisper to Dad wasn't comfort or prayer. It was coercion, soft and deadly. I didn't wait for sunrise or explanations. While Claire stepped out to get coffee, I photographed every page of the fake will with my phone, zooming in on the forged signatures, the altered dates, the notary stamp that didn't match our lawyer's seal. Dad drifted in and out of consciousness, murmuring Claire's name like a plea. I called our family attorney, Richard, at 3:07 a.m. He picked up on the second ring, voice gravelly with sleep but sharpening fast. No record of any new will, he confirmed after checking his system. Bring me what you have. Now. I emailed the photos from the hospital hallway. By 4 a.m., he was en route with the original Will the One Dad signed last month, leaving the company to me, trust for future grandkids, equal splits for Mark and Mom. This new version? Fraud. Pure and simple. I confronted Claire in the dim corridor, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. Explain the will, I said, voice low, lethal. She crumbled instantly, shoulders sagging. Dad wanted to protect the company. Mark's better at the numbers, you know that. Bullshit, I cut in, stepping closer. You're stealing from a dying man. My father. Tears streamed down her face, but her eyes flicked calculatingly to the room. It's not what you think. Dad loves me like a daughter. He trusts... Like a daughter? Or like a partner in crime? The words slipped out, venomous and true. Her silence was deafening, a confession louder than screams. I dug deeper that night. Claire's work laptop, password I'd guessed months ago from our wedding date. Emails poured out like sewage. Once he's gone, the firm's ours. Sign the addendum tonight. From Mark, bank transfers from company accounts to an offshore shell corporation. 6 figures. Siphoned over months. Hotel receipts for business development trips with overlapping dates. Charged to the company card. Worst Dad's medical records, accessed through Claire's hospital login, showed increased sedative doses in the last week, signed off by her close friend on the nursing staff. They weren't just rewriting inheritance. They were rewriting life expectancy. At dawn, I brought Richard into Dad's room. Claire and Mark were both there now, hovering like vultures in scrubs. I laid the evidence across Dad's blanket-printed emails, transfer logs, the fake will beside the real one. Dad, look at me, I said gently. His eyes, cloudy with morphine but sharpening with recognition, widened in horror. Claire, Mark, he rasped, voice breaking. The heart monitor spiked. Claire lunged for the papers. I blocked her with an arm. Sign the real will, Dad. The one you meant. He nodded weakly, tears tracking down sunken cheeks. Richard produced the document. Dad signed with trembling fingers, each stroke a defiance. Claire screamed, "He's not competent." Mark bolted for the door. Security tackled him in the hallway. The fake will? I held it over a metal tray, struck a lighter, watched it curl and blacken into ash, their entire scheme reduced to smoke. Dad passed peacefully 2 days later on his own terms, surrounded by Mom, me, and the truth. The real will stood unchallenged in court. Company fully to me, protected trusts for future generations, Claire and Mark disinherited entirely. Criminal charges followed within the week: felony fraud, forgery, conspiracy to commit murder via medical tampering. Claire collapsed in the courtroom, begging through sobs. I loved him. We were trying to save the business. The judge wasn't moved. Prison orange replaced her designer blazers. Mark skipped bail, vanished into some shadow, but the feds are still hunting. The firm? It thrives now, clean books, honest crew, profits up 20% under my sole leadership. Claire sends letters from county jail, scented with cheap perfume. I was scared. Mark manipulated me. Please visit. I shred them unread. Manipulation doesn't forge a dying man's signature. Therapy became my anchor, unpacking the layered grief of losing not just Dad, but the brother and wife I thought I had. I learned the dark psychology of betrayal, how greed masquerades as care, how family ties blind us to theft. Silence became my weapon. Exposure my justice. I sold the porch house, too many ghosts in the floorboards. Built a new life. A modest loft downtown. Loyal friends who leave phones face up. A woman who values truth over comfort. I visit Dad's grave every Sunday. Lay a single white rose. The stone reads, "He built with integrity." So will I. The pain didn't break me. It forged me. Trust is earned daily. Family is chosen, not assumed. Claire and Mark? They live forever in the echo of that hospital room, where greed met truth and burned. Me? I'm free. Eyes wide open, heart guarded, unbreakable. Thanks for watching this raw descent from family to fraud. If it hit home, smash like, share your story, comment below. Subscribe for more tales of betrayal buried by unbreakable truth. Stay sharp, stay real, your legacy is yours alone to protect.